Well, hello, yo, yo, yo. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Dia Muhammad, better known as Coach Chef, and I'm here to introduce the inaugural or first episode of the CCP Chicago Clubhouse podcast, Chicago Bears pregame show. Now, I have a guest host with me. We will be reviewing pregame for hopefully all the Bears games this season, all 17. And um, I would like to bring her on because I thought she would already be on with me. and her name is Brooke. So hopefully that would be the best transition I can have because I think she should be on with us now already.
Morning. How's it going, guys?
Hey, what's going on? I thought we both was going to be on at the same time. I didn't know our producer was going to spotlight me first, which is cool. Want a quick apology for my voice. I coach high school football, and Thursday was a game. Although Thursday was several days ago, I have not gotten my complete voice back. I'm actually drinking some tea now. This is my favorite time of the season, and worse because it's football season. But my sinuses have been kicking my ever for loving ass. So I'm not going to sound the best today, but we're going to make it through. Good morning, Brooke. How are you?
Good. And hey, today.
How's it rolling?
Oh, it's rolling. It's game day. It's got to roll.
You damn right it is. So, for all those, welcome. This is our inaugural show. We're going to be reviewing the Bears season and games, but really this is a pregame show because this is week 1 versus the San Francisco 49ers. It's our home game. We're going to do a quick intro of who we are, just so you can get to know us. Some of you know who I am. Some of you may know Brooke, but may not. So we're just going to introduce ourselves. In fact, I'm going to have Brooke, if she doesn't mind, introduce herself first, since some people have seen my face on a few various shows on this network. Go ahead.
I guess I'm Brooke. Live in the lovely cold state of North Dakota by Canadian border, basically snug right up next to it. Huge Chicago Bears fan, have been since I've age of 5. William Perry is what got me into the sport. So go refrigerator. Well, he's no longer there, but that's why I got into the sport. Single mom, work hard. Boy, introducing myself is just not going good this morning.
Brooke likes to work hard and play hard.
Yes, I do like to play hard. They do know that about me.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really surprised. Was that just a Mountain Dew can? That was it?
This is just Mountain Dew, but I can put other stuff in the Mountain Dew if needed.
Okay.
I do get nervous when doing shows. I always have for whatever reason. But we're gonna roll through this.
Indeed, it's all right. It's all right. We had a kind of a pre-show little meeting, and Brooke was like, "Hey, maybe I might be a beer or two in because," and I was like, "It's okay because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Damn it, it is 5 o'clock somewhere in the world. 5 o'clock a.m., 5 o'clock p.m. We're not going to worry about it. We're not going to judge." Well, thank you, Brooke. So here's a question I have: are you from North Dakota originally?
No, I'm from South Dakota originally.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
By all rights, I should be a Donkey fan. To be honest, I've seen the Denver Donkeys play more times live at Mile High Stadium than I know.
Wow, that's interesting. That's what's up. So you said Refrigerator Perry got you as a Bears fan. Yes. So was that a family thing? Was that an individual thing?
Individual. To be honest, my father is a Miami Dolphins fan. My mom is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. My lovely brother, who is older than me by like a year and a half, he likes the Jets. Of all teams, he's got the Jets.
That's
So
interesting. When you live in one of those places where it's very open to being a fan of any from anywhere. I don't know if your parents are from there, but your siblings having different love for teams is very interesting. I know I went to school in Iowa, so when we didn't get Bears games as that noon game, we would get Minnesota Viking games because we were kind of up in the northeastern corner of Iowa, which was kind of aggravating because who the hell wants to watch a Minnesota Viking game when you're a Bears fan? So that was very difficult for me. So what games do you typically get? Like when if not with satellite and all this stuff, just old school when it was just Fox and CBS, although technically it's what it is still now. What noon game do you get?
growing up, to be honest, the noon games that we got in Rapid City, South Dakota, growing up is we got a lot of the Denver stuff because
Really?
Fox, the Fox that Rapid City pulls out of, a lot of it was kind of the Denver area at the time. We got some of
Hmm.
the Viking stuff, but and this is what I love about my dad and probably my mom, both hardworking parents, and my dad loves football and sports, so we had the sports package. So
Oh, okay.
I get to see a variety of the games growing up, and tell you, when I chose the Bears, I happened to be 5 years old. It was actually 1985.
Oh,
It was
wow.
the year,
Okay.
it was the year the Bears won the Super Bowl.
There you
But
go.
before I picked them, it was way early on in the year before I picked them, and it was the color in the mascot. I gotta figure I was a 5-year-old little girl, and who doesn't love little who doesn't love little fluffy bears? And then I always raided the refrigerator after school. Cold hot dogs, my favorite. So when you have a guy named the Fridge, you're just like, yeah, that's my team.
That's awesome. Fandom varies. I would future we would definitely. I would love to know who you are fans of in various sports, baseball, hockey, because you just live in a place where it's very untraditional, to where you could be your fandom is kind of sometimes based on your local market, what you get to feed. Sometimes when we're kids, we become fans because of one game or a family member. So your story is awesome, and the fact that your family literally varies all the spectrum. Like you got AFC with your Jets brother, Jets. The Jets ever been relevant from whenever he was born until now? But hey, your fandom is your fandom. I'm a Fighting Illini football fan, and people ask me why. I'm like, look, man, I'm an Illinois homer, Chicago. I'm the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, everything except for Northwestern, um, and that's just how I roll. So I've always been a fan of anything in and out of around the Illinois and Chicagoland area. So for me, hi guys, once again, this is Coach Chef Dia Muhammad. You guys have seen me on a few shows, obviously, and I'm here to help host this one. How I became a Bears fan is like I said, I'm from Chicago, Chicagoland area. I've been here the majority of my life. I've moved several times, currently back in the south suburbs now, and I've been a Bears fan, I would like to say, since before conception. I didn't have a choice. I was born in 85, so that would have been technically before the season started. That was in January '85. They didn't win the Super Bowl to '86 the next year, so I was born into the season. Anyway, I've been a Bears fan forever. Like I said, anything, everything Bears. Uh, I don't, I don't, I don't have an alternative. Like I have players and teams I enjoy, but I've never not liked the Bears. I've been watching Bears games since grade school. So even when I didn't know what the hell was going on, I was always Bears this, Walter Payton that, everything. So that's great. That's just a little breakdown of who we are. Um, so there are a lot of pregame shows. Um, Update on Velvet. We will get to that, Frank. We will get to that. There are a lot of pregame shows out there. So ours is going to be Bears centric. We're going to cover everything about the Bears. With this first show, our goal is to kind of give you a quick synopsis within this hour and a half. of the off season, the pregame, 3 games they played. We're going to kind of give maybe hopefully a prediction on how we think the Bears season will go, best and worst case scenario. We're going to review our first opponent today, which is the San Francisco 49ers, with quarterback Trey Lance in his first official. He's had starts, but his actual official starting point as the number one guy for the 49ers. And we're going to kind of break down the NFC because we are the NFC North, or the North, as some people call it. We're going to hopefully break down some betting for those betting fans out there, and then we're going to have a game prediction. So next, we would want to transition right into kind of the off season, where the Bears organization decided to clean house by getting rid of Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. Um, Great move, a surprise. I was surprised by Nagy. How about you? I'm not sure. I was surprised by them getting rid of Ryan Pace. Were you surprised by them getting rid of Ryan Pace?
Actually, Ryan probably needed to go a few years ago, and I was okay with it.
I was too. I was really surprised they got rid of him as the GM. I thought they would bump him up to a more senior, something type of position. There was a lot of talk that, excuse me, Pace was kind of like the Nagy. I mean, the Hallis's adopted son, and they thought so highly of him, and all of those things. I was not surprised by Nagy's being fired, but I was a little surprised by Ryan Pace. Both of those guys have moved on. Ryan Pace is now the senior personnel exec for Atlanta, and as you know from other shows, he's kind of got his hand on bringing back as many ex Chicago Bears players to the Falcons. They have a really ridiculous number of ex Bears a part of that team. I think they even just signed Tyrus, young DT Tunga, who a lot of us were fans of. Nagy went on back to Kansas City to be a senior assistant and quarterback coach for his guy, Andy Reid, one of the greatest coaches in this era. So that's it. That's all. We've moved on. None of us are regretful. I was not a Nagy guy after year two-ish was when kind of I started to waver on him. Pace I was indifferent about. Made some good picks, made some bad picks, but definitely wasn't in favor of his first round picks were bad, but his late round picks seemed to kind of stick with us. So new time, new regime. What about our new coach and new GM? They got a really young guy. I think that guy's younger than me. In Ryan Poles, not Ryan Pace, Ryan Poles, and Matt Eberflus. Ryan Poles comes from I believe he also comes from the Chiefs. He had different positions there after he stopped his playing days, and Eberflus has been a coach. Seems like he's been a lifer. He lastly was the defensive coordinator with the Colts, and he made that defense better. How do you feel about what's your take on those two guys?
Boy, this was really hard because I am such a defense girl. I love our defense. We are monsters of the midway for a reason. When and those guys and they started cleaning house and started getting rid of some of our defense key players, I wasn't keen on it, and I'm going to be honest. At a certain point in time, I kind of just was working so much, I quit following up on who we were letting go, who we were grabbing, because the Mac trade we could have got so much more for him, I feel. They took a really low deal on Mac, and so at first I wasn't excited about him, but the team is a younger team. I've got a lot of catching up to do on all the new people we've brought in. And in a way, when you do a rebuild and you got new GM, new head coach, sometimes you have to trust the process and understand this year is not probably going to be our year. But I'm hoping 2 years down the line from now, we're going to make a Super Bowl run. So I'm trusting in the process with polls in young mind.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for us Bears fans is that we've been in a constant state of rebuilding. but we were never told we were rebuilding. I think that what I admire and what I appreciate about Ryan Poles is him saying that this is in some forms a rebuilding form. We're going to compete, as Eberflus has constantly said, and this is the NFL. You can't even when you use uh, even if you use the word rebuild, it has to be with the intentions of constantly being competitive because this is football. We can't be out here. No players are not going to sacrifice their bodies for a team that they're not going to be a part of next year. These are their jobs. This is their livelihood. So you can't be like, okay, guys, we're gonna cash it in this season to get high picks, and some of you may not be here, so play hard for us. Hell no, you can't do that. It's football. It's not basketball. It's not baseball. These guys are in inherent danger every play, every day, every game. So I believe this team's going to be very competitive. I think the biggest thing about Ryan Pace for me, I'm sorry, Ryan Poles. See, I'm already doing it. Ryan Pace, Ryan Poles. Poles for me is his youth, his experience. Although he did work for the Kansas City Chiefs, he worked for like three different GMs. All three of those GMs were pretty successful with their time there, and seeing different ways of being a GM, of being around different atmospheres of a front office, gives him a little bit of versatility in his mindset. Okay, we have that. Then we have Eberflus. People were booing the fact that it's a defensive coach, and we have a first round pick with Justin Fields. I'm wearing my Justin Fields #1 T-shirt today. But I think that if he was the best guy, he was the best guy who they thought they should bring in. Um, I had other guys who I wanted them to hire, but I was not angry with this hire. Um, Based on his background and his what he's done, I think that obviously this will be something that is a growing process since we have a first time GM, first time head coach, we got first time OC, we got a first time, not a first time DC, but a lot of the big positions are first time guys. So I'm all in. I from what I've seen in the preseason, it seems like they have an idea of what they're doing. So I'm cool with that. Um, so let's since we're kind of doing a off season a breakdown. Um, those who know me, I am a football fanatic. So I'm such a football fanatic that I watch the NFL draft, and I don't mean I just watch the first round pick. I typically watch the entire draft. When I was a kid, I started this in like 97, 98. I watched the entire draft. End to end, I recorded it. Of those who remember VHS, I know me and Brooke remember VHS. I had a collection of VHS cassettes of every single draft from like 1998 until my last VHS record, I think it was like 2000 or something. I can't remember. But once I got a DVR, I just started recording them on DVR and going back to review them because I'm such a nerd and geek of the game of football in college and all that nonsense. Um, so, Bears draft. There are a lot of young guys. They went defense first, two picks, a lot of criticism with that. How did you feel about the draft?
And I'm going to be honest on this one. I was working all the draft days at the bar, so I was bartending and really didn't get to watch the draft. So this is kind of where this is more of a question that I can honestly say this year was a year I didn't watch the draft. Unlike last year. So I'm going to let you take this all on your own. This is
we can break it down together. I know this has been a highly contested on their picks and their decision. I work. Thank goodness for that's how diehard I am. Thank goodness for DVR because I just set the DVR for the channels. I messed up. You know what? My DVR messed up this year. So old school would be ESPN. ESPN draft has been the thing since as long as I can remember. Then NFL Network became a thing, and you get a different crew. But I'm like an old person to where I don't like change, so I don't really get into ESPN, the NFL Network's version of it. But I started to open my mind to it and just getting different views of how they do it. I like the breakdown of the players based on like the camera the like when they bring up the draft screen and then they do like their highlights. I like ESPN's version a little better than NFL Network's, but that's a little minutia. We got Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker. Those guys are potential day one starters. Jaquan Brisker is healthy. He should be playing. A little lighting issue. He should be playing starting at one of the safety positions today. Kyler Gordon, who has some injury issues, but he was considered a top cornerback. We got both of those guys in the second. We went Bayless Jones, who we're also talking about his availability today, a receiver out of Tennessee who's 25 years old. That was the crack on him, is that he's old. Because of COVID, players were allowed to take getting an extra year of eligibility. So he already had redshirted when he was at his previous school, which was USC. He took his extra year, which allowed him to get more reps of playing receiver because he's been known as a returner. I think he was all conference in two different conferences as a kick punt return specialist. He was a specialist at USC and then with Tennessee. Then we get Braxton Jones, who is going to be a day one starter out of Southern Utah, the Thunderbirds. He's going to be starting a left tackle for us. So to get a fifth round tackle who's going to start is either bad or good. We're going to see. I think he looked pretty good in the preseason. We had a defensive end, Dominic Robinson, who showed some promise already early in the season. Zach Thomas, who's a tackle, but has been moved to guard. He didn't make the 53-man roster. They signed him to the practice squad, which was kind of predictable. Tristan Abner, who's made the 53, he's a do-it-all scat back type out of Baylor. Doug Kramer, who ended his season on IR, but he's still a part of the Bears. Then we have Jatari Carter, a HBCU guy from Southern who plays tackle. They moved him to guard. He made the 53-man roster. Elijah Hicks. I think I've got to do a little bit of research. I forgot if Hicks made it, but I'm pretty sure Hicks made it as a backup safety and special teams guy safety. And then the punter, who's our starter in the seventh round, Trenton Gill. So all the guys who they drafted are a part of the team, whether they're on the 53-man roster or on the practice squad. So that bodes well. I like the draft. Yes, we all believe they could have got a bigger name than receiver instead of Bayless Jones, but only time will tell. Pardon me.
Hi, I'm David Jones.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Yes, so those who are fans of this network and of our Tuesday show, my boy JB and Frank have been calling, especially JB, have been calling Bayless Jones Jr. Velvet Jones since they drafted him. And we finally found a skit from an old SNL with Eddie Murphy saying, I'm Velvet Jones. Man, that almost never gets old. That was perfect. That was perfect. That was very perfect. Man, goddamn. Oh, Lord. Anyway, we're going to move on to the free agency list. Just a quick synopsis. I can't control it. I'm so sorry. Because it threw me all off. I didn't expect that to happen. Oh, goodness gracious. I love and hate you guys so much. I love and hate those guys so much. Some free agents the Bears got in the offseason. We got guys like Pringle playing receiver. We got Equinemius St. Brown. We got Tajay Sharp, who's now on the IR, who showed. I really thought Tajay Sharp would be like our fourth receiver. I think because of his experience, he'd be good for Justin Fields. We got some backup tight ends. O'Shaughnessy, they released, but they kept the other tight end. I can't remember his name now because I'm just Frank. Damn it. Who else we got? We have a lot of free agent signings on both sides. A lot of guys who are ex-Colts. This team is really the GM and the head coach. They've almost flipped this. It feels like they flipped the entire roster. A lot of guys who were on this roster last year are not here now. We have a lot of turnover and a lot of guys on one-year prover contracts. We're trying to clear some cap space. I think coming into the offseason, the Bears were at the bottom 3 to 5 on free agent cap. Money available for free agency, and which sets us up for next year with a lot of money on the books with guys like the defensive end we traded that I can't think of because Frank threw me out. Khalil Mack. So we have a lot of contracts on the board. So once that's clear, I think the Bears have like the most cap space starting next year. I think it's over $150 million in cap space, which is going to be awesome. as long as we use it properly, obviously. But we have a lot of free agent, a lot of new signings, guys who they've been even currently signing in the offseason through from other teams after the preseason was over and practice squad guys, blah, blah, blah. 156 million. There you go. I was close. Thank you. 156 million next year, which is going to be the most in the league by far. So we've got to use that properly, bring in some big names, hopefully some receivers, but we're going to focus on this year now. We let a lot of guys go. We couldn't re-sign. I think like of our starting 11 on offense, no one was a starter except for Mooney. Like Mooney and Montgomery. Those are the. Oh no, I'm sorry. Mooney, Montgomery, and the starting 11 off the top of my head. Mooney, Montgomery.
Clement.
Who?
Cole Clement.
Oh, right, Cole. Yeah, you know what? Technically, he was Cole Clement at tight end, who I expect to have a really big season. We got Whitehair, and that's it. That's the. Is that 4 or 5 guys?
I think
Mooney, Cole Kmet, white-haired left guard,
and Montgomery.
Montgomery. That's 4 of 11. That is crazy turnover. And yeah, those are our starters. Those are like starting 11. And on defense, we've got a few more guys. Oh yeah, Mustafa. Okay, I don't really count him. I don't really count him because I don't. But yes, technically he's going to be the starting center. So 5. He's supposed to be a swing guard / backup center or whatever. So I wasn't counting him because the guy we brought in that center from Green Bay, he's supposed to be starting. He's going to start the most majority of the year, barring any major injury. So yeah, since since he's the starting center, let's say 5 returning starters from last year because he did start the season. On defense, I think there's a few more guys. We got JJ at corner. Well, that's what I call him. We got one. Oh, we got one DN. We got one safety. Damn, that's 3. No, we got one linebacker. We got Roquan. We got
And
Jalen Johnson, JJ at corner. Oh no, the other not Duke, but is it Duke? One of the corners is also starting from last year. One of the guys who people were down on. So we don't even have half of that. The point is, no, we have less than half of the starting 11 on both sides returning as starters for this season. So there is going to be a lot of new faces. There you go, Vildor. Vildor is definitely he's going to be starting. I believe the outside corner. I think they're going to move the young man from Washington who we drafted more as a nickel, and maybe he'll see some outside because he had some injury issues during preseason. Maybe he'll get, But as of now, we have roughly 5 guys, 10 starters out of our starting 11. Excuse me, starting 22 last season. Okay, so that's kind of just a quick synopsis of the offseason. Going to move on now to a preseason review. Did you catch any you work a lot. You work a lot, bro. Did you catch any of the preseason games?
Some of it I did, and actually going forward, my work has gone way down, so I'm kind of excited about that. So I'll be able to, let's say, I kind of catch up on everything in the next week or so with the team. The Browns game, no, didn't get to see any of that. What was the other one? The Seahawks?
Yeah, Seahawks and the Chiefs. We played the Chiefs first. We played the Browns third. Yeah, so Seahawks. Then we played.
Or Chiefs, then Seahawks, then Browns.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
The Seahawks game is probably the game I probably saw the most of.
Okay.
I kind of was watching some of the stuff in the back on my phone during the Chiefs game. I saw, and maybe this is what I said. It was kind of, for me, it's preseason. You can't judge it.
Right.
That first game, I think Fields wasn't doing too hot, but Simeon was on point. But then that's what I said. But I wasn't watching the games. I'm just watching the little feed, on the NFL thing. When you pull it up, that just goes play by play. And that's not watching the game. So I can't really talk about the preseason besides all 3 games. And I am hoping that continues on today. Yeah.
I watched all 3 games. None of them live. DVR. Thank the gods for the DVR. I recorded every game because I was at work for every damn game. I saw a lot of positives and negatives. I think we're going to have a few issues with cohesion with the O line because a lot of guys were hurt. We lost Patrick, our projected start at center. We lost him to injury and a surgery. He may play today, but they're talking about him starting at guard, which I think is a bad idea. I would only bring him back in an emergency role for game one. If he's not ready to play center, then I wouldn't start him today. A lot of our DBs were injured. I know a guy like Thomas Graham was hurt and all that stuff, and that's why he didn't make the initial roster. I thought they looked solid. I thought the last game versus the Browns was obviously a better showcase of the first team offense. I thought that the defense looks pretty solid, even though we didn't have a guy like Roquan in. But I did like our rotation at defensive end with all the guys that we have rotating in and out, even some of the guys they let go. And we did go 3-0 in the preseason. That means to me absolutely goddamn nothing. But you have teams like the Ravens who have not lost a preseason game in like 3 seasons, and they're perennial playoff team. But then you could go back and look at. I remember the '90s Cowboys. The '90s Cowboys, when they were winning Super Bowls, they didn't win any preseason games. They didn't start the premier guys, and they didn't win preseason games at all. And then they were winning Super Bowls. Almost kind of the same with the Patriots. So I thought they looked good, especially the third game versus Browns. I thought Justin looked outstanding. His ability to get rid of the ball, move the chains. I like the play calling. It looked a lot more fluid and smooth with our new offensive coordinator, who is a former college football quarterback and also worked with the Packers last year. We have a lot of former Packers. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's okay. It's the NFL. It's a business. So I liked it. I liked how we were transitioning from the preseason on. So that's cool. We're gonna move on now to some predictions, some season predictions, not game predictions. 17-game season. This is the second season for 17 games. I believe Caesars, a lot of big betting books have the Bears at over under 6.5 wins. What do you? Give me both. Give me your first. Let's do this. We'll both give our best case scenario. Best case scenario: if everything goes to fruition, everyone stays healthy. Justin Fields' development is supercharged with some nitrous oxide. What is the best record you think the Bears could have in 17 games this season?
Yeah, everything's supercharged, like you said. Justin Fields is out there. Everything perfect. I'm going to say our best case scenario would be basically 14-3. There's only 3 teams. You said best case, Fields way out there. I'm going for the whole thing because technically we're going to lose against Green Bay. For whatever reason, we need to get back up over that hump. So those are our 2 losses. And lately, we've been kind of splitting with Minnesota. Before we used to sweep them. So I'm giving them a loss. The rest is all doable after the whole KC game, in preseason. But that's best. That's not what I'm saying they're going to do.
14. Oh, I mean, it's a little bit hot take. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying I was shocked at 14-3. That's. You go 14-3 with this roster with a bunch of guys from first year, well, a lot of 1-year contracts and the turnover. That is, teams do it all the time though in football. Football, I think the average is like every season, 4 teams who didn't make the playoffs last year made it, and then 4 teams that made the playoffs don't make it. So it's completely possible that quote unquote worst to first happens quite a bit in football because of the turnover in teams and coaching staffs and all that good stuff. 14-3. Is that we're going to hold you to it? I'm going to write it down.
No.
Brooks says 14-3, best case scenario.
You said this was Justin Fields.
Yeah, best case. Best case scenario.
All of them, right? You said.
Yes, ma'am.
We have wide receivers. We have running backs between Herbert and Montgomery to get stuff done. We have weapons.
Right.
So hold me to that. You said best. Now,
yeah, best case scenario. No judgments. Best case scenario. 14-3.
Yep, that's best.
14-3.
What prediction though?
Best case scenario, not true prediction, just best case scenario. So
Yeah.
best case scenario, if everything happens, everything goes perfect. Justin Fields develops, maybe becomes our first 4,000-yard passer, maybe throws for 30 touchdowns. The defense plays lights out, top 10, top 15. I have the Bears at best because I think they're going to start slow, a little slow. I have them at 11-6. 11-6 is my best case scenario. What you got to say, Frank? 14-3 is you put drugs and those Edio flakes. um, yeah, okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. I got them going 11-6. I think that we still need some meshing from our O line, but I think when the O line, I think by before midseason, our O line when they're 100% healthy, I think they're going to bang it out. I think we're going to have big numbers out of our offense, bigger numbers than the previous two seasons, which wouldn't be hard, but hey, you never know. All right, worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, development staggers, some injuries at some key positions. What do you have the Bears? Because the big time media, ESPN, Fox, any big news outlet has the Bears ended up with a top 5 pick. Some of them have the Bears ended up with with the number 1 pick, which I think is fucking absurd if you look at the Falcons and some other teams. But whatever. Worst case scenario? What do you think? I'm asking you to think negatively about a team that we love, but it's about reality. I had to learn a long time ago because when I was a kid, man, I swear, I thought every Bears team in the mid 90s when they were under Dave Wannstedt was a Super Bowl potential team. And then once I got older and realized what talent and coaching really means, and you go back and look at those team rosters and guys they drafted weren't even in the league 3 years later, you're like, yo, they were awful. They fucking sucked. I don't know why I thought this team with Raymond Harris was going to be major. No offense to Raymond, but I'm just saying they weren't very strong built teams. When Ricky Prohl is your best wide receiver, we have issues. And I love Ricky Prohl.
And I think when I looked at everything when the schedule very first came out, but that was before the restructure of the team, letting go some of our main defensive line that's held it together for the last few years, getting newer, younger people in. I think I had it at 5, to be honest.
5. 5. So that would be 5-12. Yeah, 5-12. 5-12 worst case scenario. I'm gonna write that down.
Tell me the 2 games I had us winning for sure was against Detroit.
Share Bear. We don't believe you're a Detroit team, although I loved Hard Knocks this year. This was one of my more favorite Hard Knocks. I don't know if you got to watch it. Was the Detroit Lions? I really did. We're going to get to the game. We got a lot to cover in this preseason review. We're going to get there. It's okay. We're on. That's the next thing we're going to cover. We're on schedule. T-Nick, it's okay. He's worried. We're going to cover it. We've had a whole off season. Okay, had a whole off season. I believe I have them roughly the same. Worst case scenario, I have them 5-12. That's barring some injuries from some of our key guys. But I think that the coaching staff is going to be good enough to where they're going to put guys in positions to be successful, to where we can still crank out 5 wins. And 5 wins is not going to get us a top 5 pick, maybe top 8. But not. I think there are going to be some teams worse than us, maybe at the 5th pick, but not. Definitely 5 wins is not going to make us the worst team in the NFL. Not at all. Not in my opinion. So yeah, that's our predictions for worst and best case scenario. So we're going to move on now at the host of our people who want us to review the game, which we will review. It's 10:42. We've got some time. We're kind of ahead of schedule quite a bit based on kind of how I thought the outline would go today. We're going to review the 49ers game, our first opponent. It's a home game. The 49ers, Trey Lance. I think Kittles is out. They're a playoff team last year. They've been a playoff team for the past 3 years under Little Shanahan. That's what I call him. Mike Shanahan's son, who's an outstanding play caller. They have a very talented offense and defense. They got a new quarterback who is less proven than our quarterback, so I think that's a big thing. 49ers. What do you think about the 49ers so far?
The 49ers, oh, it can be good. Can be very, very good, obviously, when they take, Green Bay out of the playoffs. So I really, really enjoy them for that little postseason game last year and Robbie Gould giving it Rodgers.
Robbie. Yeah. Because
So
F Green Bay. Fuck Green Bay.
exactly. So this team, it is hard to be against them because they do. Robbie, I think, is still our top scoring person for the Chicago Bears, right? I think Robbie is
I
scored
think.
Bears.
I think he passed Kevin Butler in all-time points for the Bears. I believe so.
So it's hard to kind of go against that and the way they took Green Bay out of the playoffs last year. Kittle is out as far as I saw earlier today when I was doing my fantasy quickly before I jumped on because I have him on my fantasy. Still showing no points, so he doesn't look projected to come in. The only thing I think we have going for us is we have their special teams. So we
Right.
have
Special teams. Their former special teams coordinator is our current special teams coordinator.
So I think we have a little insight, and that is one thing San Francisco. The one is special teams. They did a lot with their special teams, so I'm kind of see what this coach does with. But at the same time, Trey Lance, I've watched him on TV when he was with the Bison as QB.
Bison.
He is good.
Very talented young man.
Very. So, I'm still going to sit there and say I'm hoping everything's going to pull through. I'm still going to stand by that 24-15. We're going to be way ahead of them, kind of like, the Browns. They're going to try and catch up with 2 touchdowns and an extra point to get that 15 on their end, and we're still going to pull off the win. So,
I think
49er, I can't really talk about everybody else on the team. Those are the ones I know.
No, and that's cool, and that's great. I think that the 49ers are a very good team. They're very well coached. I think that Shanahan is going to have his team well prepared, whether they're going to be successful. I think the Bears are going to have more of a hard time with the defense than our defense is going to have with their offense because of Trey Lance, because of the issue we have with Kittle perhaps not playing. What you got to say, Frank? What's Frank saying? We can. Yeah. By the way, yeah. We got to drop a lot of fuck Green Bay. Fuck Green Bay. Do you feel the rain is going to hurt or help the Bears? Well, even though for those who don't know, the Bears and Eberflus requested a different type of grass, Bohemian Rhapsody / Jamaican Me Happy grass or whatever it's called. The Bears have been synonymous with having bad grass field conditions. I think the grass they said is going to hold up under the rain.
So you're grass at Soldier Field or what?
No, we were. Frank asked about the rain, how the rain is going to affect it. I think that the Bears have been playing here for some years. I think they've got the upper hand as far as field conditions goes. So I think that goes to the Bears. I think that, like I said before, I think that our defense is going to have a better time against their offense than vice versa. So I think that our defense is going to play well. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I think the over under is like 39.5 based on what I use for betting. 39.5. So I think the score I would slightly say the over because 40 points makes the game, that means that neither team is really going to score 40. Score 20 points. So even with rain, I think they're going to score a little more. I would take the over with that. We're going to get to the kind of betting in a little later. But I think that their defense is really good. Their pass rushing is good. They've got one of the best middle linebackers in the league. They got a very solid defense, a secondary. So if play calling goes well, I think that we could put up 20 points versus team. I would say anywhere between 17 to 25 points is kind of the range. I think the issue is going to be more. The issue is going to be with us being able to score, not being able to stop them. Because I think that because of Trey Lance being very young and not being as well developed, and not playing very well in the preseason. I know it's preseason, but he's the starter now, so he needed all the reps. I don't think that. I think we're going to get some turnovers. I think we're going to get some fumbles, some interceptions, hopefully 2 or 3. There you go. Kittle is officially ruled out. I haven't checked. I haven't checked my fantasy yet, but I know that was a very high thing possibility. So if you're taking out one of the viable threats, I know they got the tight end 41 Crunkshake or whatever his name is. No, Crunkshake is on our team. The tight end they got with the 49ers, they use a lot of tight ends and H backs and tight ends, and they move them all around and play action and all that other stuff. Although Trey Lance is great in play action, I think his decision making is going to be a factor. So I think our defense has the upper hand. So I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. So I give the upper hand to the coaching staff, to the 49ers. I give quarterback to the Bears. I give running back to the Bears. Our quarterback or running back group is better, I believe. Receiver group, I give it to them. Obviously, they got Debo Samuel. They've got Brandon, the other young guy. Can't say his name right now. The tight ends, if Kittles is out, I give the tight end group. I give it to the Bears. O-line, I give it to 49ers only because we don't have Lucas Patrick at center right now. And we haven't, although this line has played together, I think it's still going to take some time for them to gel with calls and knowing what other guys are doing. The O-line is very crucial at this level and at every level with camaraderie. That's offense. On defense, I give the defensive coordinator coaching to 49ers. I give them the defensive line advantage. I give them the linebacker advantage. And I kind of give them the DB advantage. Although I said that our defense would be better versus their offense. I just think they're returning more guys who have been a part of their organization, been part of the team. Like we said, we only had 5 guys returning who were starters last year on this current starting 11. We've got 2 rookies playing a lot of time with Brisker and Kyler Gordon playing like slot outside corner. So a lot of the advantage go to San Francisco, but on paper it doesn't mean shit. The Bears can win this game. I believe they can win this game. I think they're going to be very competitive in this game. Where we at on time? Oh, we're still kind of ahead. So that's kind of our breakdown. Yeah, if they do that, yeah, I definitely give the O-line advantage to 49ers. I believe we're going to move Quinn around, JB. We got to move Quinn around. We got Al-Qadim Muhammad. We've got a good rotation of D tackles and D linemen. We're going to move them around. I think that we're going to give, and then the inability, I think, of Lance to read is going to be an advantage for us. The Bison, North Dakota. I'm sorry. I just had it. Have you, off subject, have you been to a Bison game before? Have you been to Fargo? How close are you to Fargo?
Fargo's about 3 hours for me, but I
Okay, that's a little bit of trip.
Nope.
Okay,
so
Spotted on, like, I know you said you're 3 hours. Have you ever been to a game?
No, not to
No? Okay.
No.
How close are you to the University of North Dakota?
The Hawks?
I believe so. The green?
Hour and a half.
Green and white.
Yep.
Oh, they're a little closer. Okay. I know a lot about obscure college football teams. Say that one more time.
And I said I go to that town quite often.
Okay, cool. That's what's up. And you're originally from South Dakota. How about those Jackrabbits? Have been to any of those games?
Nope, never been to Jackrabbits. Jackrabbits, East River. I grew up West River.
I got you. Okay.
Brookings. Probably everybody knows Adam Vinatieri.
I was gonna say that was my nerd. Oh, you took me on my nerd fact of the day. I was like, do you know that Adam Vinatieri was a Jackrabbit? And you got me. No, you got me.
Jackrabbit. He went to he went to Black Hills State University out of Spearfish.
Oh, he didn't go. He didn't go to South Dakota State.
No, I believe he was Black Hills State University. I could be wrong, but I thought he was Black Hills State University out of Spearfish. That up because I'm thinking it's Black Hills State University.
Okay, I gotta Google this real fast. Adam.
That's what what I'm curious now. I'm pretty sure it was Black Hill State University out of Spirit.
Central High School, South Dakota State. He went to South Dakota State. He's from South Dakota too. Didn't know that. Adam Benetier is from. I know we're kind of off topic right now, but Brooks from North Dakota. So I have so many questions that I haven't asked her
South
yet.
Dakota.
So he's from South Dakota, Yankton, South Dakota. Am I saying that properly?
His brother Bovin is a classmate, class of 1998 out of.
Oh, okay. Central High School, and he did graduate from South Dakota State. So,
it was South
all
Dakota.
right. I'm sorry, guys. We went on a slight tangent, but I'm telling you, Brooke is such. You know what? We've talked on the phone about the show. We've done a lot, but I just have so many questions about the Dakotas. I'm sorry. I'm a geography guy. Okay, so we talked about the 49ers. I want, since we're actually ahead on time, I guess kind of how I thought the day would be structured in this hour and a half show. I want to talk about the rest of the NFC, breakdown of the NFC North, the NFC Central, our opponents this year, who we will see 2 times a year. We're going to see Green Bay. Fuck Green Bay. We see them in week 2. That's a Sunday night game. Aaron Rodgers don't have no receiver threats. We're going to get that dub. I do think we're going to split with them, though. Yeah. Hold up. Let me just take, since we're a little ahead on time, let's see. Frank, do you feel that Lucas Patrick not feeling healthy enough to play center? He should be taking time off. Stupid decision to play him guard. I agree. I think it's a bad decision if they start him at guard. I think that, with Tevin Jenkins being in there, unless he's 100%, there's no reason to start Lucas Patrick at right guard, over Tevin Jenkins. Let that kid play. JB chimed in, another one of the guys who works for the network. Thank you for tuning in. Lucas Patrick should not start. Jenkins, Borum look promising. If anything, I would put Whitehair at center and Leatherwood at guard. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. Leatherwood hasn't had any snaps in the preseason. So is that something they predicted already? I know that they said that Eberflus said that was a possibility, but I didn't see anywhere where they were going to start Lucas Patrick at guard. Lucas Patrick. I have to look that up because now I'm a little weirded out. I thought he was going to be kind of like a swing starting verse 49ers. Sorry.
Wait, you're looking that up? I'll be right back. I just got to handle something.
Oh, no problem. No problem. There's report Lucas Patrick is looking good, but his position, I don't think they're going to start Lucas Patrick. What is the plan for Lucas Patrick going into week 1? I have the tendency of believing Whitehair was drafted as center. You know what, Frank? He was drafted at center, but I thought his transition was guard. For those who don't know, like I said, I watched a shit ton of Bears games. I think Lucas Patrick, when he got to the league, and I think they first had him at guard, and they moved him to center his rookie year. I think he was very inconsistent with his snaps at a shotgun. I think he does have a lot of versatility, but I always envisioned him to be a guard. I think that even his pre-draft write-up was that he'll be better at guard, but he also gives you that versatility of playing center. JB, you said something about Leatherwood playing left guard. I think they've been kind of playing him at some tackle, but I think that since he wasn't very successful with the Raiders at tackle, I think his best position, based on his movement ability, would be guard. But that's something only time will tell. But I think with our young team, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough because I believe I'm still in the Jenkins camp. I still believe in Borum. He never got thrown around. No. Mustapher did get thrown around. He seemed to be very understrength. Although he's looked good in the preseason. I will say that. I'm going to go back to some earlier comments, some earlier people until Brooke comes back on. We got Memories Wilson Smith. What's up? Hey, how you doing? Thank you for coming out, viewing us. Feels the introduction. Okay, T Nick. Voice still hurting from Thursday game. You're definitely a high school coach. Oh yeah, my voice is still raspy. I have not been taking care of my voice. This is actually the first time I've drank any tea since my Thursday night game where we were unsuccessful at picking up the win. But hey, I'm there for the kids all day. Mountain Dew stronger than some beers. Yeah, I haven't drunk Mountain Dew in a while. I know we talked about Bayless. I do know that Bayless Jones is doubtful for the game with a soft tissue injury.
Hi, I'm David Jones.
I was prepared for it this time, Frank. Damn it. I was prepared. Yeah, Velus Jones Jr. With a guy who's based a lot of with speed. I think that his hamstring. I think we should take our time with him. Let's go. I'm overly confident that Lose Press is going to start. I hope not, JB. I know we've been talking about it recently. I really hope that Tevin starts at guard next to Borum. I think, man, I think we got a lot of promise there. If he shows that he's going to be a better guard than the tackle, then what do we do with Alex Leatherwood? Hey, if we keep him as a swing tackle for the next 2-3 years, since we still have his rookie contract, I think that bodes well. I really hope Borum picks up where he left off last year. People forget Borum low key was like he started the majority of the games at right tackle, and I think he looked very good. He did look really bad in the last game versus the Vikings, but hey, he's still a fucking rookie. I'm not surprised. I'm happy to boot it. That was a reference to Atlanta. Blah blah blah. Who's younger than me? Let's see. Another shout out to Bearsless Lamont. Bearless. I'm a horrible reader. I'm not going to lie. What's up, Clubhouse? What's going on? Do not underestimate these Bears and their coaches. I'm not. I think that I'm just going to take it one game at a time for guys who are not proven. We are better than the Lions. Hey, man, I ain't going to lie. The Lions have some talent. I like their receiving core. And I think that their head coach is a hell of a head coach, man. That guy is somebody who, watching him operate, no matter what we say about his press conference, I think that I would want to play for a guy like that. I'm not going to lie. Let's move on. 56 mil. Mustard first starting as center. Oh, that's the update I just got for inactivity. Just came up on my board. Velus Jones is going to be out for game one, among with Velus Jones out versus 49ers. So Velus Jones is officially out. That actually changes a lot of things for us. The receiver core moves around. The special teams core moves around. Brooke is back with us. I'm just reading some comments. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a notification about nudists. I'm sorry. I get all types of updates. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said nudist. That's what my notification just said.
Wow. What have you been looking at over there on your screen besides comments? I'm just kidding.
I'm a grown man, okay? Grown man. I'm an adult, okay? I'm allowed to like nudists if I want to. May engage in some of that as well. That's my personal business. Me and another ex-NFL player may have that in common. I digress. They still have Jared. Yeah, I mean, Frank, Jared, just because we're kind of like just reviewing the NFC breakdown for all the teams. I'm not gonna lie. I think every team in the NFC North is Central. North. NFC North. Since we have 4 divisions now, not 3. I'm showing my age. I think they're all going to improve. The only team I see taking a step back is actually Green Bay. I see Green Bay taking a step back because of the lack of talent around Aaron Rodgers, especially at the receiver rate. I know he's a great quarterback. I honestly think, no bias, he's the best quarterback of this generation as far as talent goes. Not best playing and clutch, but best talented arm, brain, mobility. I think he's the best quarterback in his generation at quarterback. But I think the Green Bay's going to take a step back. I think that they're going to split with more of the teams in this division. I think that we can split with them. I think Detroit might split with them because they played hard last year versus Green Bay. I think Minnesota definitely will split. I think everyone in this division is going to split. I think everyone in this division is going to go 1-1 versus the division. So that's 6 games. I think everyone's going to go 3-3 in the division. That's just my opinion. At best, I think that Green Bay still kind of has the upper hand for Green Bay, but they kind of do because of the cohesion of their coaching staff, their organization, and their quarterback. I think Minnesota has a new coaching staff, so I'm kind of 50-50 on them. Connolly, their new head coach, is an offensive guy, which may bode well for their offensive, but I still don't believe in Kirk Cousins, although he throws for 4,000 yards all the fucking time. He's like he's the pure definition of an average quarterback who puts up way better than average numbers. Like people who are like Mr. Trubisky fans. I'm like, why? He's an average quarterback. Bears somehow go 3-0. Oh Lord, here you go, Frank. Look. I know we're not good, but we got to find someone else to pick on besides Cher Bear and her Detroit Lions. You know what, Brooks? Since you're kind of in that country, you say you got some Minnesota game, but you're a Bears fan. Who do you fear most in the NFC, and who do you fear the least? I know the answer, but I want to hear it.
The least, obviously, we know is the Detroit Lions. I fear them the least. If some of the stuff I saw, did we lose Duke Shelley to the Vikings?
Really? Oh.
I'm pretty sure
I'm definitely not fearing that. They got picked him up. I ain't fearing that.
he's good on defense. He's made some pretty good stops. But the Vikings, I'm going to be honest. I've kind of seen some of the stuff they've picked up. And right now, I'm fearing the Vikings more so than Green Bay this year.
Yes, Duke Shelley, all 5'9", 176 pounds of him, is a Minnesota Viking. A guy who did not have any interceptions last season. And in his career, I don't think he has any in his career. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I just think that the fact that his size was an issue in his overall speed. You can't be short and not that fast at the cornerback position. If you're a tall, rangy corner, you can kind of give away a couple steps because of your length. But if you're short, you can't give up any steps. But yes, he's a Minnesota Viking. That is true.
But
yeah.
Vikings, I fear more this year than I do Green Bay, and that's to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie. I do and I don't. I fear Minnesota and Green Bay evenly. I think that Minnesota has so much talent on their offense, from their running back Cook, from the receivers Jefferson, plus Adam Thielen, who people are like, oh, he looks in his best condition. Adam Thielen hasn't had 1,000 yards in like 3 or 4 seasons. He's getting older. He's not as talented as Jefferson is. Jefferson is the best receiver in the NFC North now since Adams is a Raider now. So I fear them equally. I still think we can split with both teams because of the changing of coaching staff. And I believe by the end of the season, we're going to be, barring any major injuries, we're going to be picking up some good momentum. Someone mentioned this. Someone we've had on the show, not our show, the Chicago Clubhouse, Harrison Graham from Chicago Bears. Now, he said something to the effect of, "Oh crap! And I just forgot what he said." I think we see ourselves more like the Philadelphia Eagles last year. The Philadelphia Eagles with Jalen Hurts started off really, really slow, but they kind of caught a good draft. The wholesaling, I've never wholesaled before, but they picked up as midseason went on and they made the playoffs. They made the playoffs at like 9-8. So they made the playoffs at 9-8, and I think they were like 1 and something to begin the season. They have a good record, but they got healthy. The team started to say, "Hey, we're a running team. Let's run the football." The defense played well, and they made the playoffs. So I think the Bears are kind of in that mode. I think the Bears are going to start slightly slow. Maybe we get an early win in these first 3 or 4 games, but I think in the first 3 to 4 games we're going to go 1-3, maybe first 5 2-3, 5 games, and then we pick it up as the season closes out for for weeks 12 through 17. It's technically 18 because of bye weeks. So, and Detroit, we split with Detroit last year. So we're always taking Detroit for granted. That team plays hard. Unbiased opinion. That team plays hard. I like their defense. They have 2 very damn good running backs, so Swift and Williams. You can say whatever you want about Jared Goff, but he can still throw the ball deep. He's got receivers as long as they can. No, he's not the best guy when things break down, but if he's given time, he's accurate with the ball and he can throw the long ball. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think that everyone in this division, no one. I just can't see no one in the division getting dubbed. Getting beat down. I just don't see it. I just don't see it personally.
We split with the Lions last year. I'm pretty sure I thought we swept the Lions. What game did we lose to Detroit? I thought we won both games. We were the only team in the North not to lose to the Detroit Lions.
I could be wrong. Forgive me if I am.
Well, no, I want to make sure. I was sleeping last season. I'm pretty sure Chicago was the only team in the North not to lose to the Detroit Lions last year?
Yeah, let's go back. The Bears last year went 6-11. The Lions went 3-13. They're not going to show me. I don't know why.
They won against the Vikings. They won against Green Bay, and I believe the Pittsburgh.
T-Nick says that they swept them. I'm thinking of the year before then. Mr. Trubisky's last year they swept. I mean, they split. Okay. Bears versus Lions. I'm gonna take it right, but I'm still gonna look it up.
Because I think they won their 3 games. Was Vikings, Green Bay, and was it the Steelers? For the 3 that they won. Or they
I don't know, but I know that all their games were really close last year. I think that team is very greatly underestimated. We have some people saying that we swept them. Oh, here's the scores. I listed the scores. 16-14 and 24-14 were the scores of the game. So we did beat them. We split with them the year before. So my mistake. Hey, even pimps mess up sometimes, okay? Bears swept them. What'd you say?
That's why I was just wondering if I missed a game.
That's fine. No, I remember they split with them the year before. I remember they had a crucial sack fumble on Mr. Trubisky in late in the season. So they split the year before. They swept them this year. Look, I'm sorry. But both games, those games the first game was close. 16-14.
Disloyal fool-ass bitch-made punk.
Hey, you ain't talking to me. You ain't talking to me. I ain't gonna be in Pelican Bay. But hey, I think everyone's going to split. Honestly, I do. Being unbiased, I would like to think that the Bears are going to sweep the Detroit and Minnesota and then split with Green Bay. But in reality, I think that it's a very good possibility that everyone in the division goes 3-3, like I said a little earlier. We're still ahead on time because the review for the NFC breakdown. I thought was going to be a little longer. That's what I thought it was going to be. I think we're actually really up on time, and that's awesome because we did get a little slow, but I think we picked it up. Since we're talking about the NFC breakdown, for those who don't know, obviously they don't because some of them have not seen you or talked to you, Brooke, but I have. You're going to a game this year.
Yes, I am.
What game are you going to?
I am actually going to the Bears-Minnesota game at US Stadium on October 9th.
All right. And crap, I just brain farted. That's awesome. Did you buy them before the season started when they put out the roster?
Nope.
Let me put out the schedule.
This was kind of thrown together here in the last month and a half. Grateful I have some good friends with some connections out there. Section 138 is where I'll be, and up from the field. So basically, if I walk 10 rows down, I am at field. So, and it's between the 5 and the 10-yard line and the red zone there.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to disclose something that I don't tell a lot of people. I've never been to a pro football game in my life. As big as a Bear fan I have, I've never been to a Bears game. I've never been to any pro game ever. Been to some college games, never pro games. Hopefully I can break that. That's a lot of work on my part, but that's very underwhelming by me. But man, that's going to be awesome. I don't know what kind of show we're going to do for that week. Maybe we'll do a pre-day before show. If not, we're going to figure it out. But hey, that opportunity cannot be passed up if you're going to go to a game. That is goddamn amazing. Injury.
You haven't been to a game, and I've been to Denver Broncos, obviously at Mile High times, but I have never seen my Chicago Bears play in a live game before. So this will be the first time I actually get to watch my team, and I can't complain about the seats.
Hey, that's all right. So we've got a couple questions that people want us to answer, and we also have an updated injury report as of the 8th, but we already know because Bayless Jones did not play.
I'm David Jones.
I knew it was coming. Frank. I knew it. Anyway, also the other injury concern we have is for Dominique Robinson, the rookie out of Miami of Ohio. He's been limited with a knee that he hurt, I believe, in the last preseason game. They wanted kind of us to break down the roster as far as the advantages we're going to have on certain sides of the roster. So we had a question about the receiving core. What do we think about this Bears receiving core who's very unproven? The receiver matchups, updated receiver matchup. I still think that the 49ers overall have a better receiving core. I think that play calling is going to be something that we need on our side with our play callers. Um, Equinemius St. Brown to me is still someone who hasn't proven that he can be successful on a consistent basis. If you can't be successful and score touchdowns with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, is it really Aaron Rodgers or is it you? I have to believe that he's the least talented of his brothers. Well, not the least talented. Actually, they have another brother. The St. Brown brothers are like the Ball brothers of football, but that's a whole other thing. But I think that he does have a deep ball potential. Mooney obviously is going to be our guy. Hopefully, can he prove that he is going to be the legit number one for this team this season? Um, Also, we've got Pringle, who's been battling that quad, that quad since the offseason. That's why he missed the whole offseason. That pull was a lot worse than people believed it was. Um, you said you kind of believe in this core, this receiver core. You said earlier. Who do you believe in most besides Darnell Mooney?
I'm a Notre Dame girl. You know, in
So you like Equinemius?
I mean, but the thing is Darnell Mooney. I think I've been behind him since kind of the start on there. And for whatever reason, that kid's got speed. He can make catches. That
He does. He has a lot of deep ball. He can go get it. Um, I have an underdog from this receiver core. I think Dante Pettis is going to surprise us. I beat you, JB. Dante Pettis.
oh,
I actually had a friend of mine, a friend I've known since high school. He thinks Dante Pettis is going to have 1,000 yards this season. I don't see that, but I believe that if he's 100% and because of his route running ability and his breakaway speed, and he's not super big. He's about 6'1", I believe. Dante Pettis is 6'1", 195. I believe that if Bayless doesn't perform properly, or maybe even Pringle, I believe that Dante Pettis could surprise us and have upwards of, I said, 700 yards. That's what I say. Frank says, I think Komet is going to have more yards than Pettis. That's saying that isn't, that's not, that's book it, really, Frank. Book it. Thanks. We're going to have the starting tight end have more receiving yards than the fifth receiver who's the punt returner. Good job, Frank. Anyway, um, the young man they got from the Minnesota Vikings, who's a former Iowa Hawkeye, Ibrahim Smith Marset, Emir, Ihmir. Anyway, I think that's a big signing. I think he played well last year. I think we got him from the Vikings. He played 8 games last year, had 5 catches for 116 yards. His biggest game last year was versus the Bears, unfortunately. So he's got a lot of potential. He's another 6-foot receiver, so he's a bigger body. I think that a healthy Pringle is going to be bigger than people think. Pringle has been the number 3/4 receiver for the Chiefs. So with our receiving core, I think no, we don't have that that bright superstar because Mooney still hasn't been proven. Although Mooney's put up 1,000 yards, I'm a big Mooney guy. I did say that Mooney has to prove to me personally, who the hell am I, that he can be a consistent number one. Can he take on those double teams? Can he have a defense focus on him and still perform? That's still to be proven. He didn't exactly prove it last year because we still had guys like Allen Robinson who were on the field. So him being the main focus is a big thing for me. But I do have a lot more hope in this receiving staff than people believe. I really did wish that Tajay Sharp was not injured because I think he was going to be another guy who was going to show up. I know me and you. I am not a Notre Dame fan at all. Notre Dame is one of my least favorite college football teams in all of the history of college football. But Cole Kmet is our tight end, and we both believe in him, and he's a Chicago guy. I think Cole is going to have a big season, not 1,000 yards, because if you could go back and look at the books, guys who have 1,000 yards at tight end, few and far between, and usually those guys are like tight end / receiver types. I don't think Cole's that guy, but I do think that Cole is going to have a big season, especially with the touchdowns. I think 5 to 7 touchdowns. If he has 5 to 7 touchdowns, man, he's the future. He has 5 to 7 touchdowns. He's a legit top 10 tight end in the NFL. Not top 5 because those top 5 guys are like receivers, your Pitts, Kelsey, guys like that who play a lot of X. He does play some X, but they got him active in the preseason. I know I want to hear your opinion on Cole because you are a Notre Dame gal. So show me your love for Cole Kmet.
I got love for Cole Kmet. Being Notre Dame, yeah, they lost against Marshall yesterday. That was a little hard.
Yeesh. I don't know. I don't feel bad, but they lost against Marshall, so I feel kind of bad because I like their head coach. But go ahead.
We're missing Kelly. Obviously, LSU did awesome yesterday with Kelly at the helm, but we'd like to get him back in Notre Dame, So yeah, there was changes with the college team of us losing our coach to LSU, and we got the new coach. So the team's not quite gelling. But Cole Kmet, I do. I have love when we picked him up a couple years ago in the draft. I was so excited. I believe he was our second round that year. Was he our second or third? But no, LSU.
I'm unmuted. I think he's second or third. I was looking up the injury report for 49ers. But he was one of the top tight ends in his class, though.
Yeah, and I do. I love this kid.
We don't care who you're a fan of, JB. We could put a money bet on it right now, JB. Cole Kmet, 700 to 900 yards, 6 to 7 touchdowns. Book it, JB. Put some dough on it, or put a fifth on it. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
You're good. I'm laughing at it. But yes, Cole Kmet, I think, is going to have probably one of his best years that he's had with Chicago this year.
I believe that too. He's gotten better every year. Like, you can, for no matter what people say about Cole Kmet, he's shown legit progress from year 1 to year 2. Progress. That's a proven fact. The numbers say it all. We don't have the touchdowns. Obviously, it's the big knock. But in red zone, they used a whole lot of Jimmy Graham, and they used him to block a lot because our offensive line was not very good. So when you're taking a guy like Cole Kmet, who's a big body receiver, you take him away and you make him block and you give Jimmy Graham those targets, then of course you're not going to get those touchdowns. We didn't have a lot of passing touchdowns, no damn way. So he's definitely going to score more than 0 touchdowns. He's going to score more than 3 touchdowns. I'd put a Vegas bet over under 5 touchdowns this year by Cole Kmet. I would. Just a quick side note. So we're pushing up on time now because I want to get to the betting report. So obviously Kittles is not playing today. Daniel Brunskill is not playing today. He's an old lineman. He sounds like a backup. Armstead, the DN, is going to play because he was a full participation as of a couple days ago. Garoppolo's the backup, so no one really cares. They've got 2 old linemen that are I don't think they're projected starters. But the big name, obviously, is George Kittles. He's not going to play because of a groin, which bodes well for us. And we're pushing up on time a little bit, but we're still good. I know you said that you're not a big bettor. But if you're playing fantasy, that's betting. If you're playing it for money, true or false?
Sure.
So, just for people, since betting is a huge thing now, the last time I looked at it, which was before we started the show, the line had dropped from the Bears being plus 7.5. That means the Bears are 7.5 underdogs at home, which is rare. Typically, you get 3 points. My understanding of betting automatically. So Vegas does not believe in the Bears. No one believes in the Bears, but it dropped. I think the Kittles injury dropped by a point. I would take that bet. I think the game's going to be a lot closer than 6.5. The money line is plus 230. I would actually take that. I would actually do a full parlay with that. I would take the Bears plus 6.5. I would take the money line that the Bears will win straight up, and I would take the over on the 39.5, which just means that both teams will combine for 39.5 points if they're under or under. That's kind of the only betting that I know 100%. I know you're not a betting gal, but do you think this game will be closer than 6.5 points? Final score.
To be honest, I think there's going to be a little bit more margin than that. I think one team, which I'm betting is the Bears, is going to have at least over a touchdown or a field goal ahead of the other team. I think it's going to at least be, they come down to it in the last 2 minutes, one team is going to at least need to score twice to catch the other one.
Okay. I think it's going to be a lot closer too. I want anyone who's watching the show, please give me your predictions for the final score. I'm horrible at final scores, but I do have a prediction. My prediction is it's going to be a closer game. I think it's going to be a game that is scored by, if not a late touchdown, which is going to be, I think it's going to be less than that. I think it's going to be like a field goal difference between both teams. Neither team is going to have, I don't think either team is going to win by more than a touchdown. Frank's got 17-14. I would take the Bears money line. They're 230, 200, plus 230 that the Niners will win outright. I would take that. I think the Bears can win today. I would take that bet. And like I said, I would parlay all bets together. I would take the 6.5. I would take the money line, which means who's going to win straight up. That's what money line means. I do know that one. And I would take the over on 39.5 for the Bears. I think I have both teams scoring, if not 20, right close to 20, which would, as long as one team scores 24 and the other one scores 19, and you would win that bet. A 24-21 game wins you that bet. For those who are interested in understanding that, I had to Google a lot of these things, so it's not like I'm a betting pro. I Googled bet line. I Googled point spread. I do know that anytime it's a plus, that team is the underdog. That's what I do know. So anytime you take the plus, so if you took plus 6.5, you're betting that the Bears are going to lose. Oh, excuse me. You're betting that the Bears would lose by less than 6.5, and you would also win if they won outright. That's what that means. Just to give my little snippet on betting. Like I said, the money line means who's going to win outright. So if you take the Bears plus 230, which is pretty low actually, you'd win some money on that. But that's just betting straight up who's going to win. And then, like I said, the over/under is just total points by both teams. Who we got? Bears chat. So. Let's see. Frank's got 17-14. Frank Marshall's got 17-14. We also have Frank O'Dowd. Aren't they the same person?
Well,
Frank, are you doing it twice?
That's what I was kind of wondering if it was the same.
I kept seeing two Franks. Get out of here, Frank. You and your Velvet Jones.
I was a little confused.
Hi, I'm Velvet Jones.
Yesterday, LSU lost. Well, they lost to Florida State.
They lost
week 1.
Last
but
week, they did a closeout yesterday. They won.
Who they played yesterday? Played
Southern.
Oh, come on, man! They played at HBCU. HBCU. It's about the band. We don't have the talent to play LSU. JB said something about not being a Kokomet fan. No one gives a damn about you, JB, and your opinion on Kokomet. We can make a money bet any day you want to make about these numbers, barring his health. Do you have a prediction score, Brooke? Oh, Brooke disappeared. Oh no, what happened? I know you're still there.
Yeah, apparently my battery said it wants to die on me, so I had to grab a plug.
All right, our game predictions for today. I don't like doing scores because I'm really bad at scores. I'm really fucking bad at scores. I have no idea how to do it. I know the concept of it, but I'm just not good. I'm more of a who gonna win, who's not gonna win. So I'll go first since I'm really bad at it. I think today's score, no team's gonna get to 30. So if I have the Bears winning outright, I'm gonna go between 24 and 27 to 21 to 24. So this is what I'll do. I'll say the final score. I'm in between both of them. So I say the Bears win 27-24. That's my score. I'm going to circle that. I also have them winning 24-21, but I'll go 27-24. Bears win because I also said that if I did the parlay, I had them getting the over, I had them the money line, and I had them on the plus 6.5. So that's what I got. 27-24 Chicago Bears.
The other night I know I come on and it was late and it was a long day and I had a few I tipped back, but I still think I said Chicago Bear was 24 and 49ers 15. Things that I the score the other night. So I'm going to stand behind it.
What's the score?
24 Chicago, 15 49ers.
24-15. All right. I've got a circle and written down. Just to review a couple things. Yes, Frank, I do think that 24 points can be scored in this weather. It's football. Anything is possible. It's football. It's not a monsoon. It's rain. Okay. Period. And yes, JB, bottle of your choice. I don't know what bottle it is, but we can't shake hands, but I will shake your hand. We have to agree on it, JB, that Cole Kmet this year, playing healthy the whole season, obviously, that Cole Kmet will have over 65 catches. He will have over 700 yards, and he will score more than 5 touchdowns. In fact, I'm going to write it down just so I don't forget. Over 65 catches, over 700 yards, and TDs plus 5. We can make that bet. I'm a man of my word. Man of my word, that's going to be the bet, JB. We can agree to it at your earliest convenience. So that's our betting. That Frank said. Frank, we know you the same Frank. It's 2 Franks. Frank O'Dowd, Frank Marshall. We know who you are, Frank. We know who you are. We know who you are, Frank. I would log in twice for more views too. It doesn't matter. I'll take it.
Crazy.
I'm the crazy guy. You're right. Right.
You make me laugh. Last night, Frank is a trip.
Frank was on a roll. I was at a baby shower last night for my cousin. They're about to bring another child into this world, and I was dog tired from work this week and coaching. So, but yeah. So that was our predictions. We both have the Bears winning. I still think it's going to be a tough game. I think the 49ers can win, but I'm going to say the upper hand goes with the Bears because I think Trey Lance is going to mess up a lot more. I think he's going to have more mistakes. And with all that being said, I want to thank everyone before we close out with the outro and thanking everyone. I think this is our inaugural show for the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast Pregame Bears Bears Pregame Now show. We're going to be back with you every week with a new pregame. We're going to break the Bears down. We're not going to do any more in-depth offseason stuff. We're going to have more Bears, more opponent, more opinion, more hijinks, more Velvet Jones takes, whatever. More insight from me and Brooke, merging North Dakota and Chicago together. Well, Chicagoland. I'm in Park Forest, Illinois, so whatever. And this is going to be a great season. Like I said, no matter what the record is, I'm a Bears guy. I'm going to watch every game. I got my DVR already set. I think that our connection is going to be great, Brooke. I can't wait to talk to you more and to have more shows with you. I'm mad. I've been sitting. Usually I black the camera out and then I go get me a drink, which is hilarious. Hey, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Brooke, you got your drink with you?
I got
Nasir, go get Daddy a beer out the refrigerator. I'm going to do it. Have my son get me a beer.
All right. Let me go grab one real quick.
Okay, we got to toast up before we break out.
Okay, hold on. I'll be right back then.
No problem. Okay, so I want to thank everyone who tuned in today. Both Franks, T. Nick, JB for chiming in. Anyone who chimed in, I'm going to go back. Thank you, son. Who else? T. Nick, I think you weren't here twice, but it's okay. No shade. Kristen, thank you for chiming in. The field looks a little better after squeegeeing. The grass is supposed to be a lot better this year. That Matt Eberflus. And Angela Muhammad, thank you for chiming in. Who else? I'm scrolling. I've got to get better with technology. Jacob, thank you for chiming in. Bearless. Okay, look, I'm bad at reading. I'm sorry. I'm not dyslexic. I'm just lazy. But thank you for chiming in earlier. Who else chimed in? Scott Hopkins, thank you for chiming in. Kenyon Perry, thank you for chiming in today. The last person's name was Wilson Smith. Thank you for chiming in today on our show. Hey, which Frank is this? Oh, okay. All right. Brooke, I've got my Coors.
I got my Mike's Hard Freeze.
Next time, hopefully I'll have some, what's the doggone? I'll have some Moore's beer. Toast up to our first show.
Cheers.
And I got a bottle of Appleton Estate rum that I'm gonna finish cracking open. But also, since it's first of the year, I might crack open this Jim Beam Double Oak. I got a full bar back here.
I'm like there.
JB might be semi-impressed. Might host a game night, invite everybody out, get you to come to Illinois just for a night of drinking. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for chiming in. I want to thank Brooke for taking this journey with me. We've got 16 more weeks of this, maybe 15, because I know Brooke is going to be going to the Minnesota Viking game. You're muted, Brooke.
Yep.
But thank you for everybody chiming out. We both got the Bears winning. We both have the Bears best case scenario going 14-3, 11-6. Worst case scenario, we both got them going 11-12. I don't know if we both think this, but I think the 49ers are overall a better team. But I think where it counts, the Bears are slightly better. And I think we're going to get some, I don't believe in luck, but I think the new first-year coaching staff is going to have a slightly upper hand with some late end-of-game decisions to put us over. We both fear the Vikings and Green Bay, but we don't fear Detroit. But I think everyone in the division is going to go 3-3. And we're all go for the new regime. We're all pro coaching staff and GM. All right, Frank, we about to peace out. So, with all that in the recap, we're about 5 minutes over, which I had us going to 11:37. I had the whole breakdown. I sent it to everybody yesterday. I'm organized today. I was organized coaching my football team. I got a whole play sheet like I'm the black skinny Andy Reid. So, even though we only run 5 plays, I got like 70 plays on my play call sheet for my kids, but we only run like 5 plays. Oh, all right. Thank everyone for showing up. Thank you, Brooke. We're going to watch the game. We're going to chime in and see you all next week to review the Sunday night game versus the Packers. FGB, fuck Green Bay all day. From Coach Chef and Brooke.
Have a happy.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
No more fucking